It is so cool to talk to you both. I'm a huge fan. I gotta say, the storytelling is so impressive, and I love how you push buttons. I'm curious though, have you ever been surprised at what stirred people up? Was there something that caught you off guard that you're like, oh, I didn't expect they'd fall apart over that?
Nothing specific comes to mind, but I will say that the audience reaction, I can never predict the audience reaction. I'll say that. Like episodes that were scenes that I thought were hilarious. People find gripping, other scenes that I find gripping, the fans find hilarious. Like you just can't, I've given up trying to predict how they're going to respond. So I just write to what, entertains me, what entertains the writers, what feels like it has some character and thematic depth, and then I let the rest take care of itself. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you, I was surprised by the reaction to my character being that he is. I erased the word psychopath from my mental lexicon, but it because I didn't want to be cliche about it. But people, he is a psychopath though. He's a narcissistic psychopath. So I was surprised by the response. There's been a lot of love for Homelander, which has been weird. But also kind of nice, it's nice to see people.
I mean, good for you, bad for the world.
I don't know what it means in terms of the popular our collective consciousness, but
right.
I think it's remarkable what you've done with this character because Homelander from season one has just been it's just remarkable. I've always been blown away. But what was the hardest part this season? Because this season feels like the biggest arc of unhinged versus him trying to cope at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, what was the biggest challenge this season? I think the biggest challenge this season, well, I don't know if it's a challenge because I love the challenge. I don't really see it as a challenge, so it's a difficult question for me to answer. I don't find it necessarily challenging. I find it more like we get to dive into these new places. So it's a challenge to excavate as honestly as you can and really dig down and get as deep as you can psychologically and really get into the soul of who and what this guy is and why he does what he does. So I guess that's challenging, but for me, it's like, I love it. That's what I do. That's why I do this job. And I tell you, I did I did not expect to be doing that in spandex. I did not expect to be doing that psychological and spiritual excavation of a human in a superhero outfit, because you don't often get that. But it's a credit to Eric, the writers, the guys that created the show, Garth, etc. That and Derek. That it's a really fantastic world that we're in.
Well, Eric, I'm curious, did you have everything planned out from the beginning where you wanted to be by this point, or have you kind of found the journey as you went?
It's a little of both. I mean, you have enough that like really just a cocktail napkin of where you want, the huge moves to go. Like, at what point do you want Homelander to be ascendant? Where are we in terms of his psychological breakdown? Because the more powerful he gets, the less happy he becomes. And so those two things are at extreme odds. And so, you have kind of those, but you don't want to figure out too much. You want you want the writers to surprise you, and you want to be stunned by a character's left turn. And so if you overdo the mythology, you sort of suffocate that process. And so I've learned over the years that you want to provide a lot of breathing room, both to the writers and the actors. Like, you want to give them space to sort of find things and surprise you. Because if I'm surprised, then, there's a good chance the audience will be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you very much. Can't wait for season 5 and to welcome you back to Toronto.
Oh, thanks, man.
Thank you so much.